Namhlanje we have Kendall Gwala umpephetha. It's actually Kendall Coward, but Gwala. How are you, Kendall?
Very well, thank you very much.
I'm good. Are you the number one estate agent in Durban? Because your estate agency is actually the number one estate agency, and you're the number one estate agent in that estate agency. Does that make you the number one estate agent in Durban?
In the CBD possibly, but definitely not in the wider area.
Is that measured in terms of the money you make or the properties you
Money I
sell?
make, properties I sell, length of time there, the rentals, yeah.
So you're rich.
No.
Okay, but from what I understand, okay, just tell us a bit about yourself and how you find yourself in the space where you're now selling property in the CBD, the Durban CBD.
Okay, so when I finished school in '93, I went overseas to intended to stay for 2 years in the UK, but I ended up staying 8 years. And then I came back here, and I liked the idea of flipping property, buy and sell. But what I found is that with the transfer cost and the bond cost and then the commission when you want to offload it were quite high. The property market was roaring away, so it was very difficult to find a good bargain. So what I did is settled and found the CBD, and then I just invested for long term and looked at the rental income as opposed to the capital growth. But over that period, 21 years now, I've certainly enjoyed both the growth, especially now with what's happening in the city, and the rentals consistently every single month for that period. And then I joined Remax 21 years ago, Remax Panache, and since that helped a lot of investors, and with that manage their rentals for them and make it a turnkey operation.
So I just want to understand, you started selling property because you didn't want to pay people to sell property.
No, I was battling to find good deals, and
Okay.
I was moving between Mams and Toti, Umhlanga, Pinetown. You see an auction sign, you think it's a good idea, so
Yeah.
then you back that side. So I was all over the place. So what I did is focused through an estate agency, and I like what I found in the CBD. When I say CBD, South Beach, North Beach, Victoria Embankment, and the city.
Okay, you've been in how many countries? More than 20 countries in total?
About 30. Yeah.
About 30. Does that include Lesotho, Swaziland, or we exclude those ones?
No, including that.
Oh,
including
okay,
that.
okay. So about 30 countries, but you chose to come back, Durban, South Africa.
Absolutely.
Why? Why Durban? Why South Africa?
Well, I grew up in Durban, so I know it's my sphere of influence, my friends, my family. But I love it here, you know. Not to say I don't like the Cape, but the things here I enjoy. I like every
Why
other
are we
weekend.
bringing up the Cape?
Because it's South Africa.
Okay.
I go up to Klahluwi, I do work up there every second weekend.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's the place where the opportunity is for me to be able to enjoy the weather, my family, the bush, and of course the Drakensberg.
So you just love the
And
Cape
the people, of course.
and the people and being Gwala.
Yeah,
You know,
Gwala.
this is where you are rooted. But in terms of investment opportunities, would you say there's more opportunities here in Durban, or it's just your preference, your personal preference in terms of investment, property investment opportunities?
Well, it is my preference, of course, and it's what I know.
Okay.
But, you know, there's a lot of people in Johannesburg that are property investors and that are finding the opportunity here because the areas like Hillbrow now are so bad that we've got a city here where the prices are 3, 4, 500,000, but the buildings are good, the municipality is good, there's things actually happening. And in the Cape, where you're getting huge capital growth, but you've got to have millions to get involved. There's nothing there for 300,000.
Did you just say the municipality is good? Durban,
Yeah.
it's a good municipality, is good.
Yeah.
You must really love them. They must really love you if that's how you think.
Yeah, these things that are working out, particularly now with the upgrades that are happening, there's a lot of attention on Durban, a lot.
Like what?
The cleanups,
Okay.
the bad building projects. I mean, when I say the cleanup, so the municipality are starting to sweep from about midnight.
Okay.
So when you wake up in the morning to go to work, the place is spotless. There's high jet water sprays that are going down, getting rid of all that grime and that. So when the pavements look good, people feel better, then they start to fix the buildings. Municipality putting pressure on some of the buildings I own flats in to get things right there.
And you're not scared of just walking into the city and walking around the city?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Oh, you just park your car and
Yeah,
walk
park and
in.
go.
Have you had any issues,
No,
like in terms of safety? Because that's one of the things that really scares people about the city, the inner city especially.
no, no. Parking can sometimes be an issue, but other than safety, not at all.
But in all these countries that you've traveled, has safety ever been an issue elsewhere? Is it a common thing that city centers have safety issues?
So, you know, some of the places in London that I've been to, I'd be a little bit more worried about, where you've got these ghettos of high buildings and yeah, but in terms of in Durban CBD, I own flats in all of, not all, but a lot of the properties. So I'm very involved. People know me down there. But walking on the street where I park here, I walk across there, no. People often look a little bit surprised. But yeah.
Are you gonna start doing tours, taking people to the city and showing them around,
Yeah,
just to let them feel and experience
Yeah.
Durban?
Exactly.
I feel like we're like selling Durban here. But I wanted to, for me, it's more about the investment opportunities and what it has meant for you and why Durban Central over Umhlanga, over Balita, because you have a lot of developments coming through. You have Balita, you have the West Town that everyone's talking about. You have Amanzimtoti down south. There's a lot of development happening that side. And you have experience. You have made friends. You could literally be anywhere else. And you saying, okay, this is where I'm going to stick. I'm going to stick to Durban CBD. And you involved, of things that we don't know about. The cleanups, I don't think I knew about that.
Yeah.
And the security in town. There's what are they called? The guys that are helping
UIP,
Metro?
Urban Improvement Precinct.
No, not the UIPs. There's people in the city, I think, that are not really in the city. When you walk by the beach, by the promenade, I think you see people wearing, they sort of assist the metro.
Yeah, they're in blue.
Yeah.
They're in blue, and what they do is, it's the UIP.
Oh, it's all the UIP.
If it's
okay.
anything like people begging, people trying to wash cars, taking photos of, like all things that is going to make people nervous or hassle people, the UIP is grabbing them and taking them out. But also like noise from taxis, noise from people coming down and playing loud music on the beachfront, drinking in public. That's what the UIP handles. And if they can't, then they call on the Metro Police, and they're very, very efficient.
So we're not allowed to play loud music?
Not into the late at night where you've got all these buildings on the beachfront. Got one car or two celebrating. They've come all on holiday here. They want to celebrate, but you've got thousands of people that live there.
Okay.
You know.
So there has to be a balance between the people that have come to visit and the people that are actually staying in the city. Yeah, but I want to ask you, out of the cities that you've seen, which one comes second?
I've been in places in Thailand, Sri Lanka, in Asia, and I prefer that kind of thing where you've got people selling things on the streets, hustling and bustling. But then again, my wife is from France, so I've been to Paris and the French cities as well. They might be clean in that, but my preference is like those Asian, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Bali.
Interesting that France is a first world country and South Africa is a developing third world country, and you chose South Africa. It just...
Well, the truth is my wife actually gave me the ultimatum. And like I say, she's French.
Yeah.
She came back from her job after being both of us there for 8 years, and she said, Kendall, I'm over this now. We're going to go live in Durban or France. You choose, and you've got 2 weeks. And
Gwala, thank you if you're watching this.
So, yeah, that's... I was a little bit, I was shocked, but I gave it a week, and then I said, well, it's time to go, because we were just kind of drifting there.
Yeah.
And although we were doing well with work and all of that, it was this drifting day to day, month to month. And we made the call and we came back.
Cool. And seeing that you know everything about Durban, and also everyone, is there anything coming into Durban that, like, things that you might want to tell us about that we wouldn't know about, but because of your connections you might know about? Just to help maybe an investor or someone who's thinking of investing, looking at property in Devon in general, just anything that you might know that's under the radar. And
Well, everyone must know about this amusement park that's going to come on the beachfront
yes,
now. That
right.
was released last week. And it's not a pie in the sky. It's actually, you can see where it's being designated to go.
Okay. I
in-
haven't seen anything. I'm very
No,
ignorant.
they've already cleared what was there originally.
Where?
It's kind of in the central beach area.
Where there was
Yes, before.
amusement park
Yeah.
before. Oh, okay. So it's just going to go back there.
Yeah.
So 1 billion.
I don't know the exact numbers. I don't know the numbers exactly, but that's going to bring a lot more. When I say people to Durban, if you look on our beach right now, you got all the people coming through the toll gates. People don't have to come from Germany. They're coming from Joburg, the Free State on holiday here. And I mean, just go walk down there now, and you'll see that everybody's there spending money in the city.
So it will bring in a lot more people.
Yeah.
I wanted to, Devon, I want a lot more people in the city. Do we want a lot more people in the city? Of course we want. We love people in the city. But do we not already have enough? And does it justify R1 billion amusement park? Is that a private investment?
I think
or
it's
is
private.
That
They talk of 2 Italians there.
Okay.
In June, July this year, I went to a seminar up in Hillcrest. I think you were with me there.
Which one?
And they were talking for the group Forward Durban and Change the Narrative on
yes.
Durban.
Yeah.
And there's so much stuff that's coming, but it's at different stages, of course, as well. And I mean, it's stuff that you wouldn't. It might not benefit me and you, but things like building those mega yachts on the harbour.
Yes.
So that's going to provide a lot of employment, those kind of things. And then those tenants are going to need to live close by, and preferably, or out of choice, they're probably going to go for in the city. So those rents are starting to rise. And that's the reason I bought there, as opposed to when you asked me why don't I buy developments in Oshlanga. Yeah.
Can I put you on the spot? Okay. Now I have 500,000. Which building in Durban would you say I should focus on buying? Like which building, if I were to choose? Give me the street. I may not know the exact building, but give me the street there. If I had 500,000 and I was like, I would like to put this money into property, which building would you say?
Well, maybe not building per se, but I would look at South Beach.
South Beach.
Because you're going to get capital growth there, but at the same time, huge rental demand, as well as on the Victoria Embankment. So on South Beach, on the front line, you're going to be looking at a 1-bedroom, maybe possibly 2, but probably a 1-bedroom. But come one road back, where you still will get sea views and a parking, you'll get a 2-bedroom. But then along the Victoria Embankment, spectacular views.
Yes.
On a clear day, you can sometimes see Australia. It's beautiful, yeah. And good rentals. Then across into Albert Park with the nickname Wonga Park, but they've cleaned that up so nicely. You can pick up a 3-bedroom there, and there your rental returns will be higher.
So you've mentioned South Beach, and in the same, and then you said in Victoria Embankment.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
And then
I hear you. And then you say Wonga Park, Albert Park. I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
Albert Park, very good.
Oh.
Because it's central to a lot of employment. The transport hub is very good there. Not every building, of course, but there's certain roads that are good. And a lot of those old buildings that had not hijacked, but problems and derelict have been sold off, and people have bought them and made student housing.
But what about the Amapara? What about Amapara on top? Because I was driving the other day. I was driving on top of the bridge, going out of the city, and on the sides, on the pavement, there's Amapara all over. They've made their beds, and in Durban we have 16,000. I think that's the number, 16,000 homeless people, and they are, a lot of them, sleeping at Wonga Park or near Wonga Park. So how do you handle that?
What they did with Wonga Park or Albert Park is first thing they did is fenced it. Okay. And funny enough, there's a police headquarters there. So now that area is very secure, and they've got security all over the place. And they've got all the Amapara out of those tunnels with all the trains and that. And they've moved them down Moore Road. and they're kind of congregating on the bridge now. Now we call it Wonga Bridge. Okay, so they're not in, like you say, like they used to be in the park. So their park's actually very nice now. So they're playing things like sporting events. They were showing something the other day there on not like the old drive-in.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So activities are coming back there. And the plan with those people is to move them down to Ilova, past south of Amamantoti, and they're in the process of finishing up a rehabilitation center to help them, house them, and take that problem there to fix.
16,000 people. So
I don't know about 16,000, but they're going to start with the serious addicts, drug addicts on Wonga in that area.
Well, this is not probably your area of specialty, but I was really going to ask, is moving them from Wonga Park to the top of the bridge not necessarily curing, I mean, dealing with symptoms instead of trying to cure the illness? But I think
yeah, it was trying to bring them together as opposed to spreading all over the place, because there were thousands that were living under those bridges and tunnels of the train, and now they're cleaning them up and the area up and taking down to Ilova. But
so there's a lot of issues with Durban, and what I like about talking to you is you see the beauty in Durban, you see the beauty in South Africa, but particularly in Durban. And one of the issues is the time it takes to get anything from the municipality done. Like when you're buying the property, I'm surprised at the pace at which they sorted out the issue of Amapara of the Wonga Park, because 1 minute we were hearing about it and then the next day we're moving people around, and so there was action. But things like transfer of property, things like, I don't know, subdivisions, rezonings, and all of those things, those are all the things that the municipality just seems to be slower than all the other metros in terms of processing. And do you find that discourages investors, and has it discouraged you in any way?
No, not really, because when I'm buying on private capacity, I'm buying like a sectional title flat within a building, and that takes anything from 2.5 to 3 months to transfer.
So you never have issues of like trades clearance certificates or all those things that have to be issued by
not so much that. I've had a few delays on deceased estates.
Okay.
And I've had to go down to the master's office several times, wait for one lady to come back. They've got, because it's given to some like one person's name, I have to wait for her to turn up,
and
then it hasn't arrived on her side. So that can be a little bit frustrating. But deceased estates can drag on. But I'm going down there to try and facilitate and speed up.
But those that wouldn't be the responsibility of the city itself. It's the court. And so it wouldn't be the municipality. Okay, I think the city would love to make you their ambassador. I think they should work on that. Like, think about making Kendall the ambassador of the city. Okay, we do have organizations like Forward Durban, Ultra Shall Prosper, that are championing for the city actively. And I think we've just focused so much on, there's a term I heard, a word I heard, that Durban is actually referred to by a lot of people as deadbin or something, deadbin or something. Have you seen that?
Dirtbin.
Yeah, deadbin.
Because of the litter. But to go back about the ambassador thing, Durban is very poorly marketed, in my opinion, compared to the Cape.
Yeah.
Cape is brilliantly marketed. But things are happening here, like read this Monday that Reunion Island is now going to have a direct flight into Durban. So things like that are picking up.
That?
Reunion Island.
Okay.
So people from Durban, Natal, can fly direct to Reunion, not just Mauritius.
Yeah.
You don't have to go via Johannesburg. With the development that's happening up at Club Med,
yes,
you're going to start to have French people that want to fly directly into Durban. Now that's going to, I was reading the numbers the other day, it's going to be like 1,000 every 10 days of Europeans that are flying directly into Durban, going to Club Med, and then getting tours up to the Kaklui, Zululand area as well. So it's going to spread it, and with that, so this thing will start to turn, and Durban KZN will be put on the map.
So I don't want to just assume that people know what Club Med is, because I also don't fully understand what the whole development entails. But like, do you know like
Well,
exactly what it
very
is?
my little understanding as well on it. Club Med are developments for holiday
Okay.
all around the world, and the number one place at the or most popular Club Med around the world at the moment, or last year, was Tanzania, and they're thinking that KZN's new one, will overtake that, for one of the reasons being that all the units have sea views. And it's not just a beach resort, you can also go north to see the Big Five,
Okay, so
which you can't do in other parts of South Africa. So the tourists are flying into Johannesburg, they're going to Kruger for a week and then Cape Town for a week and flying out. They're not experiencing this, what we have here. And I was at the rugby on the weekend with the chap, the egg chaser from the UK and from Manchester.
yes.
And the stadium was sold out. We were in the South Stand by the Kingston Beach Club watching the game, and he was lost for words, that he couldn't describe what he was feeling, and he was trying to do podcasts and that, having a beer with me, tequila, and carrying on. He absolutely loved it, but he couldn't describe it. And I say that to a lot of my friends: when you're living overseas, like I did, there's something you miss, and it's not always you can't put words to it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly like he was on.
The people
Saturday.
here are as warm as the weather, I think,
Yeah,
and the people
100%.
down in the Capas is just as cold
Absolutely.
as the weather there.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. But so Club Med is like a holiday resort for super rich people, or can I also afford it? Do you know that part?
About affordable
Yeah,
tourism.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm driving around up in the Taklui area, there's lots of young single or pairs that are driving around in these game reserve on hired cars, people camping. Then there's the Drakensberg, from camping, youth hostels. That'll be more affordable than.
But there's usually a perception that with development sometimes there's gentrification, if that's the correct word. But then what also ends up happening, you do have a development, most welcome, beautiful, it's going to create jobs and it's going to bring in the tourism, economy grows and all of that. But then you start having developments around that development that are expensive, further pushing away the people that can afford from the same opportunities that are created for them. Well, I don't know if this is something you want to comment on, but every time there's a beautiful big development, and especially that will cater mostly for rich people, there's always for me that to think about, because we do have 30% unemployment.
Yeah.
And yes, the development will cater for that, but in the past we haven't seen a huge change in terms of our unemployment, because of the developments. So you think we'll still have the unemployment, we'll have the development. What happens is the people will further be pushed out, and then the way also the city plans, not the city, just the developers, but the city is supposed to facilitate that. You don't have affordable developments, affordable housing around the developments for the rich people. And so what people do is they go and develop informally, and then you end up with imikuku all around, not all around, but in some areas that are really, really pretty and well developed and expensive. And I wonder if we can, with your influence and your help, like sort of, I don't know, have these discussions, talk about inclusive developments, developments that will take the people that would afford city center, that can stay in the city center, be accommodated in a development like Club Med. So maybe not inside Club Med, but whenever you're developing the Club Med, you also go, okay, we're going to need people that are going to work here. Where are they going to stay? I feel like that's never something that's focused on. I don't know how you find that. I don't know if you've seen the same thing, because like West Town, it's beautiful, but do we have affordable housing around West Town that caters for the people that are going to be working there, that are working there now?
That's been purposely built for them.
Yeah.
I know in Belito, there's a big development that's happening there. Smaller units.
Okay.
So it looks like buildings or blocks of flats like you see at Gateway. Smaller units that are affordable, 3,000 Rand for self-contained, as opposed to 20,000.
Oh,
So if you're working in retail or the restaurants and that,
yes.
you can be within almost walking distance.
I have never seen that. You see, this is why I need to
Yeah.
like keep you around and go with you everywhere so that you can show me all this, because I've never seen that, and it always worries me that whenever there's talks of these big developments, like it's beautiful, it's gonna be worth this many millions, and it's gonna bring in rich people, tourism and all. I'm like, okay, so the people that are gonna work there, where are they gonna stay? You know, because it's not like I can house them in my bedroom, all of them in my one bedroom. I can't.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Anyways, this was interesting. Do you wanna add anything at all about Durban or property in general? Especially to someone who is young, like you were 21 years ago, and is thinking of investing in general.
Well, I just want to go back to you when you said the unemployment 30%. That's what the headlines are saying. But that book series of books I'm gonna lend you from G.G. Alcox. He's talking of the unemployment rate being around 12%, because if it was really 30, we'd be in a civil war here. It's things that we don't know, particularly people in the suburbs. So there's a lot of entrepreneurial spirit. For example, the lady selling amagwenya. Okay. Now, what you're seeing on the corner, some of these guys are supplying schools in the rural areas, and they're doing 5,000 a day. I see in the CBD tailors that are fixing shoes, bead makers, amarumi, etc. And those are all numbers that aren't collected for those stats to make it 30%, because it's an informal market that's trading, and that's happening all the time in the city centre and a lot of the rural areas.
But it still also excludes them, especially when it comes to property, because a lot of times it's very difficult for those people to say, for an example, I want to now invest in property. And I'm bringing this up because this is a property podcast. So you always going to go back to property. So when they now want to purchase properties, it's like, we don't see your income. Even though this person takes home 5,000 rands a day, they still won't be able to prove the income that, the income they have on a monthly basis,
so
and therefore they can't formally participate in the property sector or property space.
That's going to change to Capitec, I believe.
Okay.
Where you'll need to approach, and I'm talking very loosely here, you go to Capitec, say this is what my average is. And it's very similar to what I do in real estate. 1 month I'm right up there, 2 months I'm earning nothing, then I'm up again, then along, etc. So it's like any business. They need to probably be shown how to do their books, and then from that, Capitec will start to lend to them.
Oh, so we've advertised Capitec, we've advertised Remax in one go. We've also advertised the book Cousinomics. I'm joking, we don't advertise it, we're having a conversation. But I've thought about the informal economy, Cousinomics, that's what we're going to call it now. I've thought about that, Sorry?
Cousinomics.
Yeah, Cousinomics. I've thought about it. I've seen it. Of course, I've come from the rural area. My grandmother has always been selling something at any point in time, right? So we've always sold something to make a living. I have never thought about the fact that if really 30% of the country was unemployed, totally unemployed, we would be at war. That is an interesting fact, if it is a fact, to look at, like to try and investigate, to try and understand more. Because again, we fail to, as Durbanites, to market Durban. But I feel like even with South Africa, we do the same thing. We fail to market South Africa. We focus so much on the negative. Like, South Africa is the rape capital of the world. South Africa is the GPV capital of the world. And I'm not dismissing these claims, but you have a lot of countries that are at war, that have a lot of bad things happening in them, like worse things than in South Africa. Yet South Africa is the one country you get insults from people in some of those countries, with Boko Haram and all of that. Those same people will insult us on social media, telling us about how we are the GBV and the rape capital of the world, which is partly true. But I cannot imagine that we are worse than some of the countries that we're compared against. It's
Yeah,
just,
I don't think.
we're just not marketing the country
Mm.
well enough. And yeah, when it comes to Durban specifically, we're also doing the same. We're not marketing Durban well enough. So all the marketing people out there who are specifically based in Durban, you have a job to do. Get going, get working. Thank you so much, Kendall, for
Pleasure,
joining
thank you.
us. We could keep going. We'll have this conversation continuously outside of the cameras. To the viewers at home, please remember to subscribe down below if you did enjoy this conversation. This is the Property Podcast. Here we talk about property laws, property rights, and sometimes property investment. And when we do get bored, we also talk about the built environment in general. Please comment on what you thought of this conversation and share the conversation with your friends. Bye.